The following is a JSW Media Group production. This is a stylish vegan podcast where we discuss all things food, lifestyle, and culture from a non-judgmental and unapologetic perspective with great people doing great things. I'm your host, Jameka Shamae. Let's get into it. Welcome to another episode of The Stylish Vegan. I am your host, Jameka Shamae, and today we have a very special woman in the studio with us. I am so excited to welcome Sunni Speaks. Sunni, what is going on, girl? Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I had listened to a few episodes and then I heard my good friend, Black Vegan Man on there. And I was like, oh my gosh, I wonder if she will have me on her podcast. Like I will. Let me do a little DM dive real quick and see what's good.
Well, I appreciate it, girl. The honor is mine because I've been watching you on these internet streets for a little bit. It's been nice. I see what you're doing out there. I am I'm a little impressed. I'm stalking a little bit.
It's always nice to be noticed. I appreciate that.
Well, let's just jump into it. This is unfiltered conversation. We're going to talk about veganism from a cultural point of view and from a personal point of view. You've been vegan, I believe, for 4 years.
Yes, it'll be 5 years in December.
Okay. Hello, vegan anniversary coming up.
Oh, right. I should do a little turn up, a little something.
I mean, for 5 years, I think you should do something. Have people put your Cash App up, have people send you something.
I listen. I'm never the one to shy away. That's my affirmation. I'm worthy of luxury without hard work. So send reparations my way. I don't have no problem with that.
You know what? I am not mad. I am not mad at all. So tell the people a little bit what you do. I know that you are a content creator. I know that you are a vegan chef, a celebrity vegan chef at that, a cookbook author. I mean, it just keeps going on. It's hyper, what do I like to call it? Multi-hyphenate creative.
Yes, I definitely am. I'm super creative. So what I tell people is that I do everything related to veganism, except I don't have a restaurant and I don't do meal prep. So I am a meat manufacturer. I make my oxtail and my ribs that get shipped nationwide. I'm a cookbook author. I also do cooking lessons. I have my seasoning that I'm working on bringing back. I am a child's book author as well. So I do a little bit of everything. I do catering. I do private dinners. My most recent successful baby that I love so much is the Vegan Sexy Party, which, we'll get into a little bit later, but that's my baby. I love that. So I just love being creative with food and reimagining veganism, making people taste things and experience things that they haven't even had non-vegan, and now they're getting to try it in a vegan way too. So it just makes it 10 out of 10. People call me with health consulting questions for, improving their health or what things they can eat for, their blood pressure or their this and that. And so, yeah, I do a little bit of everything. That's a lot of hats. I do content creation. I actually do some marketing and project management for some vegan companies. So
get your coins. Secure the bag.
Indeed, in every way. I put no obstacles between me and my money. That's one of my other affirmations I say every day.
I like, you might need to do a book of affirmations. I'm just putting it out there. I'm just saying, like, Sunni Speaks affirmations. Girl, just give me a little bit. I'll just take 5% for that idea. That's all. Like
5% is that a lot. Jesus want 10. The IRS want 30. When I'm gonna get mine? 5%.
You can be a millionaire, so it's okay. You can afford that. It's all good. We're putting it out there.
I ain't saying I couldn't afford it. I'm just saying we gotta. We'll talk. We're gonna talk off the air.
We'll negotiate that one. That's
okay. I have my people call your people.
That sounds good. We'll work it out. No, but seriously, I would love to hear about just your journey toward, how did you get to where you are? Veganism is particularly in the Black community, as a woman living in the South, all of these things, it's not one of those, of course I'm vegan situations. it definitely is always a good journey for people. And I love hearing that story. Tell us about yours. How did you start?
I just wanted to show up fully and authentically myself in veganism. And I wasn't seeing a lot of that when I first started out. So all these many years ago, I started doing a challenge, right? My trainer did it for 90 days. So I was like, well, I could do it for 30 days. I didn't want to do it by myself. So I put it on Facebook and said, hey, do y'all want to join this vegan challenge? It wasn't a thing yet. I was just like, I'm going vegan. Does anybody want to join me? So they were like, yeah. Made a private group, and I always could cook very well, and I always knew how to cook. Like I'm no stranger in the kitchen. My dad was a chef. So people were like, yeah, we're joining, but we don't know what we're doing. And I didn't know what I was doing either. So we kind of stumbled through it and figured it out together. So I would do these live cooking classes because by trade, before I quit my job and became a full-time, vegan everything, I was a teacher. I have a master's in education. So I was able to cook, understand veganism, and then make it relatable to a specific community. So that's really what I did. And so we did the challenge. Everything went great. People loved it. And then, the challenge was over. And it was January too. So, people were like New Year's resolution, all of that good stuff. So we did the challenge, finished it out. Everyone did whatever they did for the rest of the year. And then, like, around the holidays time, I noticed people start asking me, like, hey, are we doing that thing again? Or, January's coming up. Are we doing a challenge? And so, that year I was like, well, I didn't know it was a thing, but sure, y'all want to do it. Let's run it back. You know what I mean? Let's run it one more time. So we did that, and then we kept doing the challenge every year. So that was 2014. So 2018, I just decided, like, I keep eating all this other stuff and I'm just not feeling as good in my body. I noticed my recovery time is slower when I work out. I'm just feeling, more sluggish. My biggest thing was dairy. Like, dairy would make me so congested. I was like coughing up mucus in the morning and all this stuff. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna scale it back for myself. So I won't bring meat into my house. I got rid of everything that wasn't vegan, and I cook a lot. So I was like, but I'm only cook vegan stuff in my house. So I'm still like figuring it out. But when I would go out, I would still like eat chicken wings. I would still eat this and eat that. But I would eat less of it because, like, let's say I was going out for wings, I wouldn't order 20 wings because I knew I couldn't bring any home. I had to, just order 10 or whatever number because I couldn't bring anything home that wasn't vegan. That was like the rule that I set for myself. And towards the end of the year, I remember it, December 18th, I was at my cousin's house and she had made some wings. And that was like, my kryptonite. Now, I wasn't at home. I was definitely on vacation. But like I said, because I didn't keep it in my house, it wasn't something that I had regularly. So I couldn't even tell you the last time I had eaten chicken before that. And I ate the chicken wings and I got so sick.
Mm.
So sick. I felt like, if you've ever had, for all the people who, have college degrees and drinking are listening out there, if you ever had that feeling of when you have a hangover and you want to throw up, but you can't, like it just sits in your stomach, you have this nauseous feeling. I felt like that for 36 hours. And I was like, you know what? I'm never doing this again. And that was the last day. I said, you know what? Forget it. It's not for me. So that's how I got started. But when I first started out, of course, you on Google, you on YouTube, and everything. And I've noticed this a lot, especially as a chef and a content creator, that there is inherent bias in all of these search engines, right? Because even when I'm looking for a recipe, if I don't put in like macaroni and cheese, black people, it's going to give me who knows what, you know what I mean? If I don't put in potato salad, Southern or black or ethnic or all of these, key / coded words, you don't even know. You don't even want to know what's on that part of the dark web. Okay. And so I started looking to people like Cooking with Joya. I started looking to people like That Chocolate Vegan, and who I love. I love That Chocolate Vegan. I love her YouTube channel. And so I was like, okay, these are people like me, but where do I fit in? Because I'm still my hood rich self. I'm still from Opalaka. Like, I'm still, your cool cousin who, went to a HBCU. I'm going to pull up, ask everybody who want to go, get a breath of fresh air. Don't ask me what's in my solo cup. I'm still that. So I was like, how can I bring this to the vegan space? And so that was a part of, the marketing and strategy behind my brand. Like, we still black, we just went vegan. And so that's how you got all of Sunni Speaks and these definitely, these recipes getting veganized and these Southern style and home cooked and, home for the holidays type of feeling, because I wanted people to feel like, you know, I was their cousin. I just happened to be the cousin who didn't eat meat. And that really is how I show up online. That is how I show up in my everyday life, like with my family when I go to the cookout and stuff. Like, they know I'm still loud, I'm still finna twerk, I'm still finna foot race with the kids. I'm just the one who don't eat meat. That's it.
I love that, because that's that core authenticity that I think is missing from a lot of content creators. Everything is always so, you know, I mean, we know what social media is, right? Like, everything is
Mm-hmm.
always so polished and so contrived and so staged. Has that been a challenge, or have people really connected with that authentic part of you? Because, you know, there's a lot of clutter out there. You know, there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of noise and a lot of different people in different lanes. I guess, what's been your biggest challenge and what has worked really well for you?
So, in the terms of what has really worked well, because I'm a Sagittarius, I like to start with the positive part. I would say connection and community. I know that when I'm speaking to the people that are in my audience, they connect very well and direct with me, my personality, the way that I describe things. So, all of that has worked really well. People feel like it's authentic. I've had people DM me and say, you know, because I might not want to disrespect the business. So I might taste something and, you know, I don't like it. And I'll be like, oh, okay, you know, I'll move on to the next thing or whatever. And people have DM me and been like, I could tell you ain't like it because your facial expressions and your da 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 da. Or if I don't, you know, like it, I may not tag the restaurant just to, you know, I don't want to be putting bad press about anybody, because I know how it would feel if someone was doing that to me. I think a lot of times on the internet, people forget that, you know, it's real people, real ideas, real recipes and stuff like that behind, you know, the person, and those things can hurt. Or, you know, I have these other facial expressions when I love it and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this got my coochie wet. This is so good. Like, I say all this stuff. So they're like, we can tell when you know, really like something and when you don't. Now, I will say the part that may have not worked out or panned out just yet is when it comes to like getting brand deals and finding brands that align with that level of authenticity, because like you said, they do want everything to be like so curated and so, oh, this person has to have, you know, 100,000 followers or this is that, and I have to like go in with restaurants and, you know, brands and let them know it's not about the numbers, it's about the amount of engagement, and I have the engagement for a page of my size. So when it comes to like, you know, getting brand deals or finding brands that align with the way that I center my page, and I center a lot of blackness on my page, sometimes, or you know, people just wanting like super curated content. They're like, you need this ring light and that, and I've had that happen before where they're just like, oh, you know, we want it to be brighter, to be this or that, and I'm like, it's not the rest, because I be seeing some bald headed recipes on y'all page. I be seeing some recipes that ain't worth nothing, and I'm like, y'all paid how much to who to give the people of God what? Because that is beyond me. So that's been, I would say, an obstacle or a hurdle that I'm starting to work through now, because people do want that curated content, and it's almost like it doesn't really matter how good the recipe is or how delicious it tastes if it's not fine-tuned and edited in this form or fashion and have all these transitions and whatever. It doesn't seem to get, when it comes to brands, I'm not saying with my audience, because I do have my videos that do really well with my audience, and what I have noticed is it really does only depend on the recipe with my audience. It's not depending on, I've done a bunch of content where it's like my makeup is done, because I never, you know, I never really was that girl to just like, oh, I'm gonna, and I admire, shout out to every single content creator that beats their whole entire face before they do a video. But I'm just like, to, you know, it's a different story if you're already getting paid. So if I'm already getting, let's say, $300 to $500 for this video, then yeah, I don't mind spending the extra time it takes to beat my face, or to even hire a makeup artist to come and beat my face to set up all of these things. But as a person who's in the space of trying to get these deals, like that's an extra hour. Like literally when I messaged you beforehand, I have been working on my eyebrows for 30 minutes, 30 solid minutes. Okay. just for them to show up like this, like the nerve. One always comes out perfect, the other one shows up drunk, one heel missing to the party. Like, girl, doing all of that, editing, coming up with the hashtags, the witty voiceovers, like all of those things. So that's been an issue. And then there was a moment in space where, like, for last year, I did basically political news stories in a funny way over the videos, that over my food videos. And so, but that stuff was like getting me blocked, banned, you know, getting my videos taken down. Instagram was putting me
Wow.
on child academic probation or whatever, but people loved it. Like, they performed the best out of like all of the videos. To this day, I still have one that is on my TikTok. I did the vegan version of the grinder sandwich, and it was talking about something with like the Supreme Court, how they just ruled that like the EPA can't basically say what's clean, like car emissions and stuff. They're not able to regulate it anymore. The Supreme Court is now the one that regulates it. And so in the video, I was just saying about like how essentially how stupid that is, because your job is like law and politics. Your job, like, you're not, you failed science, you cheated, ho, like, why am I trust you? And so that video did extremely well on TikTok. It's at 60,000 views, but on Instagram I get backlash. Or, you know, I would just say stuff like, oh, I'm at the White House greasing Kamala Harris's scalp for Easter, you know, whatever, but it would be like a vegan collard green recipe. So one of the ones that I did was Donald Trump's Last Supper, and it was when all of his stuff got raided at Mar-a-Lago. And so the premise of the video was just saying, like, why does it take rich white men so long to go to jail? Like, if this was a black person, we know you basically, you got to sit in jail until we figure out whether you're guilty or not. We pretty much know this mofo is guilty, and he's out here living his life, and we're looking for more and more evidence to try to figure out that he's guilty. Like, I don't know if you remember, I don't know if I'm showing my age right now. This was years and years ago when Dave Chappelle had the Dave Chappelle show, and he did the skit about how white people and black people go to jail differently. Girl, video was like, this has sensitive, and I literally didn't say the N word, I didn't say the C word, I didn't do any of that. I just was like, you know, they looking for this, they done found what they was looking for. They done found 42.5 million different accounts of him doing shady stuff. He done spent our tax dollars at Lenox Mall, like, but he's still out. Yeah, we gotta get a special enforcer to see if we can even prosecute, if it's even gonna go to trial. But meanwhile, you know, we have people who are sitting in Rikers and sitting in prisons across the nation simply because they are poor, simply because they don't have the money to bail themselves out. They don't have the money to get a good attorney or to appeal. And so, so I had to give that up. But that's been something that has done and has performed very well across my channels. And it started, Joy is actually the one who told me to keep up with that. I did this, I don't even know, like, I just be coming up with stuff, but I did a video saying that I had a dream that I was playing spades with Harriet Tubman versus Martin Luther King and Frederick Douglass. And, you know, Martin Luther King got caught reneging. Like, it was just this crazy story. And Joy was like, this is so, she was like, you have to keep doing these. These are so funny. And so that's where I went from there. And then when I started doing the political one, people encouraged me to do that because it was a way for them to keep up with the news in a funny and relatable way of, like, you know, just what's going on. And so I started like looking up what happened in the news today, you know, okay, this is in Florida, you know, but I have worked too hard to build this page up. For those who don't know, this is my second page. My first page was originally Sunni Speaks, and it got taken at like 24,000. And I started this page with like 265, and we built it back up to 19K. So now I stand in line. Whatever Massa say, that's what I was doing. Because, child, I ain't got time to build up no another page. I'm in the line. I don't spell coochie correctly on my page. I don't say the N word, the P word. I don't say none of the words. I don't even put hashtag, try to spell it strange, nothing. I don't want them to come up with nothing. Because I'm in Instagram jail right now for something that I didn't even think was harmful. And it was like, this is promoting gang violence. I was like, okay.
Oh my good. Yo, Instagram Meta in general will lock you up quick on them social media. They will put them social media chains on you in a second.
Throw away the key. It's been actually 3 months. I haven't been able to monetize any of my content. People can't do collaboration posts with me, all because one of my friends from Spain sent me a recipe, and the recipe, he's in Europe, so the recipe is in grams. So I joked and I was
Um,
like, and I didn't even say the word drugs or anything. I didn't even post it to my page. I posted it to my stories, and I said, whenever my friends from other countries send me recipes, I'm always like, slow down, Pablo Escobar, because we only use grams for drugs. Like, so when you say 400 grams of flour, like, I know what 400 grams of weed look like. That seems like a lot, but it's not, because it's flour, it's not weed. So I didn't mention no type of Dave's like, you on probation, so I'm locked up right now. You know what I'm saying? Y'all put something on my book.
girl, what I say about that Cash App? We're gonna run that back. Something. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about what you have coming up. I know you've got a lot of I'm so intrigued by these sexy vegan parties. Like, something about that, as a fellow woman who is single as fuck right about now, excuse my language. Yeah. And and black vegan men, do they, well, some exist, yes, but I think that's a whole nother topic that we may have to have a separate podcast
That's a
for.
whole nother, if you want to have me back, because that's going to be one of the topics on my podcast, but that's a whole nother, girl, that's a whole nother episode. When I tell you my rose is tired, baby, my rose is tired, okay? Because I air fry this thing every night. Girl, it's so sad. And when you go against your morals or whatever, your standards, and then you give it to somebody who's not vegan, you end up with a yeast factory. So it's just like, you might as well.
pH just wrong.
Girl, it just be a mess. So it's so interesting when I get asked about the vegan sexy party, because I've heard all sorts of things. There's all sorts of rumors. People think it's orgy. That it's so funny. Like 2 years ago, I actually somehow or another, I think it was Clubhouse, I ended up having Tyrese follow me, and so I invited him to the Atlanta vegan sexy party. And so one of the blogs asked him what's like going on in his DM, since he had like gotten divorced, and he said the craziest thing that happened was he got invited to a vegan sex party.
Oh,
Which that's not what people always think, that they're like, it's a vegan sex party. I was like, no, it ain't no whips and it ain't no chains. Ain't nobody eating nobody else. Not during the dinner. Now I have seen, it's a great date night event. So there's always couples that come. I've seen people come and meet somebody and leave together. Now what you do after the party is your absolute black ass business. But during the party, no. So it's actually just a curated dinner experience. It's 5 courses, bottomless mimosas, chocolate covered cherries. Everything is vegan. And I created the party. It's supposed to be like grown and sexy, but vegan and sexy. And so I created the party because there wasn't a lot of places, especially unless you live in like New York, LA, Vegas, maybe Portland, some of these very, very vegan forward cities. There isn't really anywhere that you can get dressed up and have a really nice like dining experience as a vegan, and the food is good. I got to throw that part in too, because there are places that are like, okay, this is a date night, you could throw on your heels and throw on your pearls and get jazzed up, but it's like a lot of fancy restaurants. It's just the food is just okay. And so I was like, I need to change that. I need to change that, because I don't have my own restaurant. I'm not in restaurants, and the type of food that I want to do, it just literally blows people's minds. So I came up with the vegan sexy party, and the first one was in Atlanta in 2021, and it really was just only supposed to be one. And that particular year, Valentine's Day fell on Saturday, and a lot of people, even though I was single at the time as well, a lot of people were saying like, oh well, what are you doing on Valentine's Day? And I'm just like, dang, there really isn't like a good spot that you can get dressed up. This is prior bar vegan days, but there isn't really anywhere where vegans can go get dressed up, have a really good meal, and get alcohol, because that's also an issue too. And so I just created it. I've been very good and consistent at that throughout my career as a vegan chef, of looking and finding gaps and niches in the market and just filling them. And then it also started as a brunch after dark too, because there wasn't anywhere you could get vegan breakfast. I mean, now we do have spaces. So the first one we did a oxtail Benedict with pickled red onions, cheddar mousse grits, and a marinated kale salad with tangerine mimosas.
Okay. Okay, that is see, the problem is I haven't had lunch yet. So you're talking about this and I'm like, okay, let me make my notes cuz I need to come to the next one.
Oh, yes, the next one is Houston, March 25th. 2023. I'm just giving the date because I don't know when people are going to listen to this. So the next one is in Houston, and that's going to be March 25th, 2023. The one after that is Puerto Rico. That's going to be May 6th. The one after that is going to be Detroit in June. We're doing Philly in July and Atlanta in August. And I'm going to say for the most part, unless a Christmas miracle or a big donor comes, that'll be the last one. Otherwise, we'd like to do one in September in LA.
Okay. Sounds good. I will see you in August in ATL. Definitely.
Yes, I think you will love the experience. Like you will really love it. And then we have our, adult sexy question games, and that's kind of where the sex theme part comes in. But really, each one is just a dedication to the city and the food of that city. So the Miami one, which we just had February 11th, was a love letter to the Caribbean, and so we did what's called passport plating. So each course is from a different country, and then we explain the history and the narrative because I'm a very big history nerd. So we explain like the history and the narrative of why, you seeing these things coming together in this way. So it's just a beautiful experience. If you like history, if you like or love food and you like to get jazzed up, it's definitely the place for you. And you have the option to infuse each course if you would like to. I keep the THC oil on deck for you.
I love it. I love it. That reminds me, I might have something coming up that I want to invite you to in Charlotte in the fall that I'm kind of conceptualizing. So it'll be a stylish vegan event. So
Okay, no, don't say too much about it online. Like
yeah.
hit me up offline. I want to definitely hear about that. But that sounds good. And I've been to Charlotte I think twice. Both times I went to go see Joya, but I come back out to Charlotte.
Yeah, we get it popping here from time to time. From time to time. Or at least we're trying hard. But so okay, I always like to end these conversations with something fun.
Oh,
So
okay. Because I thought you were gonna hit me with like the rapid fires or
even though that is a good idea. But this one is, we kind of talked about this before the camera started rolling, but sometimes people think of vegans as all activists. We're all a monolith. We're all thinking the same way, all of these kinds of things. I like to humanize it a little bit because we are still people and we're still, we're Black folks. We are women. There's so many different labels on us, right? Like different boxes that we fit into other than just being vegan. So for the
that's
people,
really true.
it is. It really is. And I think people forget that because we're so passionate and compassionate about how we live that the other parts of our personality sometimes get swept under the rug. So my
Mm.
question to you is what can you share about yourself that isn't readily available online or that you don't share, that people may not know about you? Like some kind of, we need at least a little bit of a secret. I know that's hard for you because you're pretty transparent and you're very authentic, but we want to hear something.
Ooh, girl, I really, really would have to think about it because I think really the only thing that I don't share online is like dating stuff, like if I'm dating someone or stuff like that. But I mean, I'm pretty transparent. People know a lot about me, about my mom, that I don't want to say suffered, but that I've been diagnosed with depression, and so I worked through that. Having a healthy routine, something that is like a secret that I can share, something that's not readily available that most people wouldn't know about me. Oh, okay. I think this is a fact that a lot of people don't know. So when I did go to FAMU, graduated from FAMU, shout out to the Rattlers. And when I first went to FAMU, my degree was in animal science because I actually wanted to be a veterinarian. So I don't know if folks have seen the movie Napoleon Dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
And they, kind of thought that the FFA thing was fake. It's not fake. It's actually very real. It stands for Future Farmers of America. I was a member. I've won a lot of prizes. When people are like, oh, dairy judging, like, yes, I was co-captain of my high school team. I was all state I won state fair for lambs, all of those things. So I have delivered calves. I have done C-sections on animals. I've done stitches. I've castrated. I've dehorned. Just your all around Farmer Brown.
Okay, that is definitely new. That's a new fact that I did not know from my research. So see, that counts. That's a good one.
That counts? Okay, yes. So I did want to be a veterinarian. And I gave that up when I realized how difficult science actually was on a college level.
Nothing like that chemistry course and that biology at the college level to just change your whole entire mind.
Oh yes, got a whole degree in sociology because of it. I was like, it's been fun, It's really, but we can only take these so many times. I have a Caribbean background. They don't believe in low grades coming back to the house. So I was like, no, ma'am. So I think that's a pretty good fact that I don't think most people know about me. You'd have to know you would have had to known me for a very long time to know that fact.
So I appreciate you sharing that with our audience. So now we feel like we're even a little bit more close to you, and can definitely support. I love that. Tell the people where they can find you online, and tell us about your cookbooks.
Oh, yes. So my first cookbook that I came out with, this is 21 Fresh. I'm holding it up for the people who are listening on wherever you listen to podcasts and you're not watching it. And so it has 21 recipes. There's 7 regular, 7 raw, 7 alkaline recipes. And this is very beginner friendly. It has grocery lists in there. For the folks who can see, it also has the recipes broken down into like hardware, spices, pantry, produce, so you don't have to circle the grocery store. I love that. And it has a playlist to cook with. If you are a little bit more advanced in your veganism and you're not looking for just maybe super healthy recipes, I have Home for the Holidays, which is all of your Black people classics, your honey baked ham, your dressing, your potato salad, banana pudding, just everything. The book is actually called Home for the Holidays: Recipes for Every Black as Fuck Occasion. So you should be able to attend any Black gathering with these recipes and be super solid. That also has a playlist to cook with. And so it's like a little bit of mix of, weekend clean the house music with some Black Christmas classics. You got the Outcast, Players Ball, TLC Sleigh Ride, Donny Hathaway, This Christmas, Eartha Kitt, Santa Baby. So that's a curated playlist. And I love that because I can actually listen to it with my mom because there's no cursing on it. So we have that. If you're interested in weight loss, I have a weight loss workbook. And if you're interested in combining your eating with your spirituality, I have my latest digital book, which is Aligned as Fuck or Aligned AF, and that has one recipe for each chakra. Then I also have my amazing kids book, Stony the Vegan Pizza Night, which explains veganism on a kid's level. So basically, we don't eat anything with a mom or a dad because it makes their parents sad, and you get a recipe for vegan pizza in the back of it. I believe I have another kid's book, Charlie Travels, which is to help Black kids understand and travel, about a little girl who goes to Africa to visit her cousins for the first time. So I do a lot. I think that's all the books. I have a weight loss workbook if you're looking to lose weight. So that's another something that I have, 28 to Great, 28 Days to Change Your Habits, Change Your Life.
So all the things, basically.
All the things.
Sunni, this has been amazing. You have been such a joy to chat with. Is there anything else you want everybody to know about you? Anything that I might not have asked?
Check me out on Instagram. So if you're on Facebook, it's just Sunni Speaks, SUNNI, and then Speaks. If you're on the gram, it's Sunni Speaks Vegan. So SUNNI, speaks like a language, and then vegan, Sunni Speaks Vegan. Sunni Speaks on TikTok. That's where all the vegan jokes and commentary is. And Instagram is where you can find all the recipes and whatnot. I do have a Twitter, but I'm such a people watcher on Twitter. I don't even want you to waste your follow, to be quite frank with you. But that's all of the places that you can find me. If you're looking to connect, to work with me, if you want me to cater your event, if you want me to come and be an influencer at your vegan festival, your best bet is to hit me up on Instagram. I manage that page and answer those DMs and all of that jazz.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, it has been a pleasure. All right, y'all. Thank you all for joining us for another episode of the Stylish Vegan Podcast. We've had a great conversation with the lovely Sunni Speaks. And, check us out. Hit us up. If you need something, we got you. Until next time. Thank you for listening to the Stylish Vegan Podcast. If you like what you heard today, we'd love your support. You can share, subscribe, and like us on all social media at stylish_vegan. Want to sponsor or be a guest? Go ahead and slide into our DMs on Instagram. Until next time.